Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. This video is going to contain my reaction to Chapter 20, Part 1 of the main campaign, and it'll also feature a discussion of some of the other news and events coming out of Dragalia Lost this week. It's been a super packed week in Dragalia Lost, haven't had a chance to make a new video until now. We have the 1,000-day celebration starting off this week in Dragalia and running into July, so that is packed full of good events and free giveaways. So I'm excited to talk about that, as well as talk about the story. We'll save the story discussion itself to the second half of the video, and while I'm talking about all of this, I'll be playing through some of the new maps from the latest campaign update. Really love these maps. They have a beautiful design, beautiful scenery set in the world tree, and just love the color on these, so I'm excited to share these as well. I just always love when the main campaign brings in new scenery and new places, and definitely did that this update. Anyway, let's talk about some of the other things that are happening in Dragalia besides the new campaign chapters start off. So Time Worn Torment, the raid event, is happening. It's only a couple days left at this point, so make sure you have fully built out your Wukong. You've been playing the Nightmare Battle daily for the Grand Bounty, and you do the Omega Raid before the event goes away in a couple days. We also have Time Attack running right now for Ayaha and Datoha. Even if you're not interested in going for ranked rewards, it's still worth playing through all of the quests there for the Wormite you get for first clears, as well as for the class-based rewards, which just challenge you to get your own best time and meet certain milestones. They're not competitive, but it's a way to test yourself, and so I think the rewards on those are really good as far as Rupees, Eldwater, and Champion's Testament, so check that out. We also had a version update a couple days ago in Dragalia Lost and a maintenance that ran alongside it. Included some quality of life features like the addition of anti-aliasing. We, alongside that, had a separate update which made it so that certain skills are no longer affected by Curse of Nihility. In particular, skills that involve skill shift, that is no longer prevented by Curse of Nihility, which makes certain adventurers who use the skill shift mechanic much more viable in Sinister Dominion and Trials of the Mighty content. Speaking of Trials of the Mighty, we have a new trial coming in the month of July, Grimnir's Trial. Otherwise, those have continued to roll out steadily, and we're starting to see more and more of them rerun, which gives a chance to actually finish the mana spirals of certain adventurers. The way I've been approaching it is I intentionally try not finish the mana spirals of adventurers because I want to give myself opportunities to get value out of those trials in future weeks if those are the only trials available. For example, right now I had an opportunity this week with Thor's Trial to finish my mana spiral for Gala Yuden, but instead of going for that, I intentionally went for Nurse Eileen because in the future, let's say another week rolls around and Thor's Trial is the only one available, well, if my Gala Yuden was already at 70 nodes, that'd be kind of a waste to me. So the way I'm doing it, I'm trying to just spread the love among all my adventurers who are eligible for mana spirals. That's going to be my plan going forward, but eventually I think that we'll probably see a slowdown in the release of these, and we'll start to see more weeks with two options so that people can kind of catch up on the mana spirals that have been released that way so far. Moving on from Trials of the Mighty, next week we have our summer event starting, one of them at least, Toll of the Deep. It's a facility event. It had a super cool trailer over on the Nintendo Mobile YouTube channel. There's preview artwork in the game featuring Summer Alex, who we knew was coming, but also Summer Mim, who is a new reveal for this event, and there's other characters in the trailer. I think there's a city called Aquapolis beneath the water, and there's really cool looking, almost like merfolk type characters, mermaids, mermen, under the sea, and I'm excited about that event. I just think the scenery again on that is going to be really neat and something we haven't seen a lot of in DL. So that's one I'm pretty excited for. Leviathan also seems to play a role in the storyline. It has new music from what I saw in the trailer. So that should be coming soon, and alongside that, I think we'll get a banner, probably our Gala remix, regular Gala Dragalia banner with Gala Reborn Nidhogg, and maybe either Mim and Alex, or maybe one of the two, with the other appearing on a subsequent banner. But that is coming up soon after our Water Blessing that's happening right now. Let's move on from that into the 1,000-day celebration event. So There's a login bonus happening right now in the game. It's actually very good. There are multiple days where you're getting 1,000 Wormite, plus there's a Twitter trivia week happening right now. So if you're on Twitter, you can retweet official trivia questions on the game's website every day for a chance to win some Wormite. And then starting in July, we're also going to have a Scratchathon, which is kind of like a roulette type event from Grand Blue Fantasy. It's basically you get a roll or a scratch off every day, and you have a chance of being able to summon a 5-star adventurer from that. And even if you don't throughout the entire event, everybody at the end of the Scratchathon is guaranteed to be able to get that 5-star summon, which is pretty cool. There's daily free tenfolds happening in July, but they appear to start after the Gala banner is likely going to end, so I think they're going to be on the next banner after the Gala. And then, on one particular day in July, you have to make sure you log in, there's a 100-fold summon happening. I think it's on the 19th or the 20th, depending on your time zone, but yeah, make sure you tune in around that time. I'll definitely make a standalone video on that to make people aware of it, but we've never had a 100-fold summon before, so I feel like they did a pretty good job with the 1,000-day celebration. I wasn't really expecting a whole lot from that, but there is actually a lot happening for it. And finally, let's talk about Chapter 20, Part 1. This chapter also saw the introduction of new Draconic Essences, so we got Horus, Styx, Garland, Tiashan Gongzhu, and Rambiel. So besides the Draconic Essences, we have half stamina double drops for the main campaign, so it's a good time to play through and collect those, but also a good time to finish hard and very hard story chapters like I'm doing right now with the hard quests on this chapter. But as far as the story content of the chapter itself, this one was a little bit on the light side for me. It didn't feel like a whole lot actually happened. We're going to get into spoiler territory here. We start the chapter off by taking a look at Nedric and Jinlorda's party. They're along with Zethia and Valix, presumably. They're ascending the World Tree, and we see that Nedric has to consume or absorb mana to sort of sustain himself from the World Tree, which is interesting. Zethia kind of speculates as to the reason for this. Their plan is basically to continue ascending the World Tree. They're going to use the power Nedric of the Dawn Shard to make his pact with the Genesis Worm Bahamut a more perfect pact. Jinlorda's planning on using the power from the World Tree and of Metamorphosis to kind of reform Fairy Society, but I don't think he specifically is going to go for the Dawn Shard itself. That's saved for Nedric. And apparently they have a relationship, like they've known each other, they have a history, they've known each other for a long time, so I still don't really know the true origins of Nedric's birth, because presumably the real 7th Scion just died, and then Yuden was created as this artificial sort of life form, so maybe the real 7th Scion, Nedric, somehow was resurrected or brought back from the dead. Speaking of being brought back from the dead, the other part of the chapter that I thought was interesting is as we progress up the tree, we get a little bit of that doubt creeping in for Cleo, just like we've gotten for the other party members, as relates to her Agito counterpart, hers being Tartarus, and she starts to question herself about what the king Alberius would have truly wanted, and she actually has an opportunity to meet him seemingly being brought back from the grave, via Gala Reborn Nidhogg, the Death's Reveler, for a chance to talk to her. At the very end of the chapter, things close with her having seemingly defeated Tartarus. Like, it seems like he just got blasted and is annihilated. Not sure on that. And finally, it's also revealed that somebody sneaky has been tailing our group. So not sure if that is the ghost of King Aurelius, who Yuden is trying to receive a message from. Maybe it's Harl. We know that he's been trying to infiltrate the Fairy Kingdom. But that remains to be seen in the next part of this chapter. That is going to do it for today, everyone. Let me know what you thought about Chapter 20, as well as what you think about all of the other stuff happening in Dragalia Lost right now. Otherwise, everyone, thank you as always for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.